Every single person right here, right now, is making a grave mistake that is going to cost them possibly years off of their life in the future and possibly get them in so much shit in the future. And this thing is, this mistake isn't even like mainstream. It's essentially picked up by the elites and they just sweep it under the rug. They don't give a fuck. They could not care less about this mistake and how it's made each and every single day. And I'm not even going to bullshit in this video. I don't have a story to tell you. Instead, I have something to tell you. I have something to tell you instantly that you need to hear before your dopamine fucks up and you click off the video. Listen here, right now. Very carefully to what I'm about to say. There is zero rules for these kids to abide to. So how the fuck do you expect them to be good? How do you expect them to be these fantastic people that you just magically raise in the future? Think about this. The reason the iPad kid is around is because parents let their kids go on the iPads for hours and hours a day. The reason there's this video game epidemic created by these young people that cannot get their lazy asses off of their fucking beds and get up and do some push-ups or even go play football with their friends is because the parents do not say, we're going outside. They say, do you want to go outside? There's no more authority in adults on this planet. And with this lack of authority comes a lack of actual parenting skills, which means it's likely that you might have been raised in a way that is terrible. And your parents don't even fucking know. They're just giving you exactly the same childhood they wish they had. Because truth is, most of the Gen X, Gen Y people who are now your parents had a shit upbringing. They had a terrible upbringing. They had a horrible upbringing where if they did one thing wrong, they'd get scolded for it. If they did, I don't know, if they didn't want to eat their greens, they would have just got sent straight to bed at like 5 p.m. So therefore, they don't give you any greens. Because they're like, I know you didn't like greens, so I'm just going to feed you chicken nuggets instead. And they can't be fucked with you. They're trying to give you the childhood they wish they had, like I said. But that's because their childhood was difficult. Difficulty creates strength. And strength creates contentness. And the contentness creates weakness. We're through that content to weakness stage. There's a reason each and every single person being raised right here, right now is becoming weaker and weaker. And it's not just the microplastics. It's not just the shit in the air that you're breathing each and every single day. It's not just because of the social media, which was my initial cause to complaint for this video. It's also because of the strength that was created with the generation that was just raised. And now the weakness that is being created with the generation that is now being raised. There is an issue in the modern day era. And that is we do not have any laws to abide by. These teenagers get away with vaping. They're fucking 12 years old. Vaping is at 16 in England. They get away with it. Because they look 16 to everybody else on the street. No one's going to sit there and tell them off. No one's going to sit there and say, stop being a little shit. And that's the grave issue we have right now. Parents and actual people of public, elders who actually have knowledge, don't have any authority. They could not care less about their authority. And instead they use their authority to complain in a fucking supermarket, complain in a shop, complain at Tesco. And don't get me wrong, these social media videos of people like pranking each other and the brain rotted bullshit hasn't helped. But the reason that has begun to take place in the first place is because parents just gave up. They just said, here, have TikTok. It's basically a Peggy 3. Here, have Peggy 3 for those of you that don't know, it's like an age rating, right? Basically, it's an age rating of 3. Have Instagram, even though it's an age rating of 12. Have Facebook, even though it's an age range of 18. They just say, have whatever you want, as long as you're happy, right? And I'm not having a dig at parents. But in reality, you cannot lie. Look around you. Look at the average parent of the modern day. What do they tell their kids to do? Genuinely. What do they instruct their kids to do? Do they say, we're going outside for a walk? Or do they say, do you want to come for a walk? Do they say, yo, you don't deserve to play video games because you haven't made your bed? Or do they say, yeah, of course you can play video games and go on your iPad and what's not? They allow these kids to live by distractions. They allowed you to live by distractions. And just so happens that within those distractions, you've come across me. You've come across this exact video. And hopefully this is going to wake something up inside you if you are stuck in that disgusting cycle. But to be honest, most people stuck in that perpetual loop to your demise you don't even know about is dopamine. You can't watch this video. 99% of people have clicked off. 99% of people with exactly the same life you have lived have already gone. That's the truth. That's the upsetting truth. And the best thing of all is though all of these parents aren't actually trying with their kids. They're not actually putting in any effort for their kids. They're not actually saying, you need to go play some sports. You need to do this. You need. Have an authority in their households. They just succumb and let it happen. You want to go on the iPad, go on your iPad. Do you want to play Fortnite all day? Go ahead and do that. Play Fortnite all day. No one tells you Fortnite's not going to help you. So you just assume it will. And obviously, there's all of these counter arguments on short form medias saying, oh, video games are good for cognitive function and shit. Yeah, of course they are. If you're playing the correct ones, if you're playing chess.com, if you're playing Quad and Back or something, of course it's going to be good. But if you're sitting there playing fucking Clash Royale on the toilet, you're a shitter, mate. Get off the fucking toilet. You shouldn't even take your phone in the bloody toilet, and no one's had the bollocks to tell you that. Because they want you to be content. They want you to just be happy. And then in the future, they don't realise that you'll just become weak. You'll just become incredibly weak. They just don't have the bollocks to tell you. They don't have the harsh love that is actually love. They have the fake pussy version. No offence. This video is not meant to be a dig. But I must say this. Someone has to wake you up. Because otherwise, you may go raise your kids the same way. And then there'll be a downwards trend in strength. It will just be week after week generation. No change in sight. Somebody has to change this. Why not us? Think about the media. Putting blame on Generation A and Generation Z in particular. Yes, I'm English, that's why I'm saying Z. I understand. I'm not saying Gen Z, bro, because I'm not fucking American. Gen Z. They're putting all the blame on Gen Z. The truth is, most of Gen Z are already 20 years fucking old. Most of Gen Z are already done with their teens. You cannot put the social media blames on Generation Z when most of the actual problems are with Gen A. Gen A. Most of this social media shit comes at the same time as Gen A. And Gen B and Gen C and so on and so forth will likely get worse because of the lack of effort. So if you're a parent watching this video, first off, congratulations for getting near in the end. Second off, I'm sorry if this lesson's come across harsh, but sometimes the harsh reality is what you need to actually fucking clock in, wake up and realise, shit, you're right. Wake up and fucking realise. Wake up. This is not a dream. This is reality. And the reality is you are raising your kids to be weak and pathetic. And the whole world is going to be weak and pathetic as well. But let me tell you something. There will still be that one bully at the gym. There will still be that one killer inside of that fucking restaurant. There will still be that one murderer on the plane. And if your kid doesn't have the bollocks to stand up and at least try to fight him to save 500 lives on that plane, 50 lives in that restaurant, or maybe 100 lives at the gym, then do you really expect other kids who are now just a little bit older to do the same? Truthfully, you should have absolute faith and trust in your kid. And that doesn't mean you're going to have so much faith and trust in him that you're just going to expect him to be raised into an absolute fucking gem. You need to sit there in the smoke, in the fucking fire, in the raged walls of him being super fucking angry, or her being super fucking angry, and you need to teach her, this is incorrect, this is correct. Because without this, we have another generation of weaker people. We have another generation of pussies. We have another generation of people who get upset because they tripped over at the playground. At 20 years of age, probably. And if you're a kid watching this video, I hope you've gained value from this. I hope you understand you need to make your life difficult. Because difficulty will make you stronger. There's a reason I preach difficulty. There's a reason I preach self-improvement. It's because this difficult era of your life where you do not know what to do, you're basically taking action, blind fire through fucking smoke. And you're just hoping to hit the target once. Because once you hear that target go ding, you can shoot there again and again and again. Until you completely defeat it. Even though you're shooting through smoke, it is 100% possible. But unfortunately, like I said, it's not your fault. But your generation's been raised weak. And the greatest issue is that higher ups take this issue that they can clearly see, that you can clearly see, yet they don't hire more policemen. They don't preach what you actually need to learn. No one actually tells you you need to do things. Authority's been lost. and then just sweep it under the fucking rug. I hope you learned something from this video. I know it's been a rant, but it's been a necessary rant. I cannot sit here and watch each and every single person create 0 rules for their kids and just expect them to end up like their fucking dream idols. You can't set nothing and expect your kids to become something out of nothing. They need some sort of guidance. They're stupid as shit. They're fucking kids. Bro, do you expect a 5-year-old to know that you do push-ups, you grow your chest? Do you expect a 5-year-old to know how to fucking cook? No, you need to teach your kids these things. It's the same thing. You need to teach your kid how to walk. You need to teach your kid how to speak. You speak with them a lot, then they learn to speak quicker. Your kids don't learn by themselves. And nothing will ever fucking change. They will not learn by themselves. Therefore, they will never learn. And if they never learn, they will end up just like the fuck-ups you hear about online, who are laughing about brain-rotted shit. But I don't need to go there. You just need to fucking clock in, dial in, and understand that this is the future that you are leaving for your kids, for your bloodline. A future where they can't even have fucking kids themselves. Because they weren't taught to go to the gym and be healthy. Because instead, they were raised by parents who couldn't even be bothered to cook them fucking food. And it's just embarrassing. Like I said, it's not a dig at you. I'm sure it's harder than it looks. But it could be twice as difficult. And your kids could be 5 times as good if it was twice as difficult. And I say 5 times as good. I mean 5 times as good. I mean they could end up as fucking millionaires if you raise them correctly. If you teach them the correct mindset from young. Because mindset isn't just natural fucking genetics. Mindset comes from what you hear, what you preach, and what you learn. How do you know, Sharp Telegram, how do you know what your mindset's going to be if you are never taught it from your fucking parents? But on that note, I hope this video found you. I hope you watched it all the way, and I hope you gained maximum value from it. If you've had an easy upbringing, I hope you find difficulty, because without that difficulty, your mind is never going to fucking change and you will never grow up. And as always, brothers, I hope and pray for your success. May God bless each and every single one of you. Stay strong out there, and we'll see you tomorrow.